Harmless Fun. The anime starts with our protagonist who lives in a very bad family environment, learning that he has superpowers. That's not really special though, since superheroes and superpowers are very common in this world. With his friend's help, he tries to make his superhero appearance for the first time, and in the process ends up getting his identity revealed and almost kills dozens of young people in the public pool. After that incident, he sees no future for him as a hero and decides to use his powers to live as a criminal, stealing ATMs and living the easy life. Cut to a couple of years later, and we are once again greeted by Johnny. Now, though, he is living the Supermax prison. He gets home with his girlfriend, and his boys are there to take him once again on their schemes for some easy money robbing some places. Johnny just can't refuse, and against his girl's wishes, they go around cheating the city and getting noticed by a big bad hero, Super Dude. I just can't pronounce his name, alright, so let's stick with this. Super Dude beats the fuck out of them, but he leaves, and they are able to escape due to his girlfriend's powers that allowed her to control Super Dude's mind and make him think he wanted to leave without actually arresting the criminals. This shows up two important aspects of Johnny's character. One, his thrill for this is unstoppable, and actually at times even bad for his own well-being, risking getting caught after just one day of getting released from the Supermax prison. And two, he loves his girlfriend, so much so that he agrees to not do this type of shit again, so that they can live a nice and easygoing life. But we don't know how strongly he feels about this yet. And when he gets put in this situation again, where he has to choose between these two desires of his, that's when we'll see who he is as a person and where his true values lie. This situation puts Johnny on a spot every time. Every decision he makes about this has to be well thought out. So his girlfriend lets him in on a heist that is going to happen and that can make them real wealthy. They get ready and go do their thing with the supervillain team to beat the bad guys and steal their magical omnipotent helmet. No, not this one. This one. Although we're not sure of it, this shows Johnny is willing to leave his addiction to the criminal lifestyle to live a comfortable life with his loved one if they have the ability to live a very wealthy life. Which makes sense if you think about it. The reason Johnny doesn't want to leave his life as it is now is because his powers and his crimes are what allowed him to be successful. It's what allowed him to feel safe, and it's what gave him self-worth for the first time in his life. So if this heist is successful and gives him the money that he needs to feel the same safety and self-worth, and that allows him to live the same life he lives now, then he'll take it. It might seem a little bit controversial or hypocritical of him, but it actually aligns perfectly with his character. So they get to it. They grab the helmet, they leave, and before they could get paid, the guy they stole from shows up, kills their employer, recovers the helmet, and leaves them hanging without anything. This leaves Johnny and the crew once again in a quandary. Do they stay low and just move on with their lives, or do they go around committing minor crimes once again? This, as we already know, is a very delicate situation for Johnny because of the relationships he has. So every decision he takes has to be well thought out. He just did it again. And this time he does it on the day of his wedding. And he gets caught for it and doesn't show up. He goes back to the Supermax, his girlfriend gives up on him, and now we know. This is the type of person Johnny is. When faced with the opportunity to pleasure himself and feel the thrill of power again, or live a life of happiness and tranquility, he chose the first option. He isn't mature enough, and maybe never will be, to live in a relationship. But that's not all. He isn't ready to leave his addiction because that's what makes him feel confident and secure with his self-esteem. He isn't just a selfish asshole. He is someone who has found his values and independence in this way of life. And if he abandons it, he is afraid of what might come next. He's afraid of going back to the boredom and helplessness of his early, powerless childhood. So Johnny is arrested for a couple more years in the Supermax. And as he leaves, he tries to go back to his girlfriend, but she rejects him. The consequences actually caught up to him. Johnny faces the rejection of his love for the first time ever. But in amidst all of this, the old friend of them who planned the failed heist shows up looking for help to pay the casino he stole from. Otherwise, he's gonna be killed. Johnny makes up a plan and decides to get the old team back together to steal some money and save the old man's life. They go on a mission to get a four-dimensional suitcase thing that stores thousands of treasures inside its infinite space. They get there, they steal it, beat up all the bad guys, and each one leaves with a very healthy retirement fund. And Johnny is able to get back together with his honey. This is good. Johnny actually learns from his mistakes and chooses to do the right thing for the person he cared about. He found value not only in the thrill of criminality, but also on helping those in need around him. He himself sees his value for something more than just a villain and a criminal and a person with superpowers. He sees himself as a person. Or at least, that's how I see it. Because most of this conclusion is not actually based on what's shown in the anime, but from his actions, it's kind of something that you can sort of assume in a certain way, with a certain stretch of the plot. Supercooks has some nice fight scenes, cool superpowers, and although the theme is kind of saturated right now, it is still a harmless, funny piece of media that I quite liked. And although nice, it has a lot of missed opportunities in regards to the powers and their use, the fights and their development, and the plot and politics that could have been much more developed without even getting very complicated or political. The show feels like a combination of very hyped ideas, such as heists, superpowers, anime villains, ideas that go very well together and that kind of sustain the anime by themselves. The character of Johnny is actually really good and something very worth watching the anime for, but everything else is kinda mid and could have been a lot better had it had some development. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.